Hello YouTube, Heavy Metal Piper here. Welcome to the continuation of my reviews of Cornell and Diehl's Cellar series. The description of the series can be found at the beginning of the opening video reviewing Joie de Vivre. This video will focus on Bourbon Bleu and will be the unaged blend. The tin reads, perhaps the most well-known street in the French Quarter, the oldest district in New Orleans, this cellar-worthy blend takes its name from the colorful Bourbon Street, whose distinct blue shutters have lined the rue for years. In this equally memorable blend, bright and red Virginias are mixed with just the right amount of dark-fired Kentucky and long-cut Perique, then married together with bourbon before being pressed to form an old-fashioned crumble cake. Which is a crumble cake, and the tobaccos and flavoring are all listed in the tin description. I bought this tin April 2nd, or the date on it is April 2nd, 2018, and I purchased it in May 2018. Today is in June 2019, putting it at 14 months old, and the tin was opened in June 2019. The estimated peak of the blend is 10 to 15 years, so keep your eye out for my follow-up review around April 2028, which will be 10 years from the date on the tin I'm aiming. I'll start with the smell of the blend. Comes out right away. It's a bright, citrusy variant of a standard vapor smell. There's a smoky influence from the Kentucky underneath. I don't directly smell bourbon, but it does smell a bit like a cocktail featuring bourbon. Right. So since this is a crumble cake, we're going to break some chunks off, rub them out, and then pack them up. This crumbles very easily. Barely have to use any force to get some chunks off, and rubs out about as easily. I prefer to keep this a little bit chunky as I can, just to kind of, I guess, preserve a bit of that compact marriage that they got in the initial creating the blend. Okay, let's let her up and see how she tastes. Left myself a good deal of room at the top of the bowl here, given that I like to keep it a bit chunky. It has a tendency to raise a bit more than standard pack bowl. Also slightly a bit trickier to get that initial input going when it's all compact like that. But that's true, at least in my experience, of any kind of more compact blend packed in that fashion. The overall feel is like that of a vapor, but just a bit lighter. Lighter in the sense of weighted more towards the Virginia than the Perique, not necessarily both of those flavors more mild. There's a minor spice. It's more that there's kind of a kick added to the flavor than an actual flavor of spice. That little kick feels a bit like the Perique and Kentucky together in concert. Feels like that's where that's coming from. I'm not very fond of bourbon as a beverage, so I'm not terribly familiar with this flavor profile. The topping, while very mild, is of a sweeter bourbon to my taste. You know, like a very sweet corn kind of flavor. At times, it even feels like a rye. The whiskey and the flavor of the Virginia is kind of gives itself a very subtle reminiscence of an old-fashioned cocktail. It's one of the better types of that whole flavor sense that I've gotten. Some can be a little bit heavy on the flavoring. Not so here. I'm interested to see how this ages, specifically how the topping and its interaction with the flavors of tobacco. Until next time, let me know what you think of the blend or the music. We'll see you then.